here we go. Let's see what we got. It better be good. Yeah!
Hey.
Woo! Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. We got elevator!
Oh yeah 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 yeah. Oh yeah 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 yeah. Oh yeah 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 yeah. Oh yeah 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 yeah. Oi oi alegria. Oi oi oi. Ooit behalten zich in een. Oi oi zich in een. Zelf is niet tobak in een. Oi oi oi. Oi 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 oi. Oi 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 oi. Oi 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 oi. Oi 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 oi.
Hello, my name is Ruth Hertz Weber. I've been the director of the San Diego Jewish Men's Choir for a little over 13 years now. It's a wonderful community of singers with a mission of preserving and promoting historically relevant Jewish music. The pandemic was very hard on our group, but we made an effort to stay together by having practices on Zoom and completing and releasing our third album, Legacy. Now we are just struggling to survive as a group. Some of our members developed other interests during the pandemic and did not return, and some of the younger members moved on to complete their education or went back to Israel or to find new jobs. So we're facing the new reality that we are aging and we need to find new members in order to survive. Rehearsals are so much fun, and we're getting our voices back, learning some new dance moves, and starting to reschedule the performances we had to cancel when the pandemic hit. Our members come from all different countries and all different walks of life. We're going to meet some of them now.
My name is David, and I'm from Israel. I've lived in the U.S. for 42 years, and I've been a part of the choir for 18 years. I was born and raised on the kibbutz located near the Judean mountain. I lived there for a total of 28 years. My ex-wife and I moved to San Diego after living on the kibbutz. To fill the void in my life, I decided to join the San Diego Jewish Men's Choir. I know also some of the old-timers when they speak Hebrew or sing, they pronounce it in how they teach it in synagogues. Which to me, it's really annoying. Because they don't pronounce words properly. In fact, I was in the choir when we do recording. She put me to be in charge of pronunciation. Because,
okay.
you know, once you record, it's become kind of like a historical archive, and so you might as well do it right. But you know, a couple of guys said, "That's the way we grew up with. That's the way we were taught." You know, those guys are like from Brooklyn and somewhere in New York. You know. So yeah, so I said, well, it was just a very minor correction.
Yeah.
Singing in the choir gives me something to look forward to right now, since I am receiving dialysis 3 days a week to help me sustain life.
Today we'll be doing some singing through a straw. This is a perfect way to work on breath control. By maintaining a tight seal with your mouth on the straw, you create more back pressure on the vocal folds, and this lets them vibrate more easily. It's great for warm-ups and cool-downs after singing. It's also good for rehabilitating the voice. Don't sing up to the next one. That's when you take a new breath. Okay? Ready? And... take a breath. We began including choreography in our performances as a way to add an additional element of fun. But the choreography actually helps the men stay in shape and builds their vocal stamina, and it's great for getting everyone to work as a team.
My name is Jack Cohen, and I have been a member of the San Diego Jewish Men's Choir for 14 years. The sudden passing of my father at the young age of 59 had a pivotal impact on my life and in my overall outlook as well. I truly felt something was amiss, that I had a hole in my heart and in my being. I began to look at my entire universe through a lens that centered around the recent passing of my father. I understood that the carefree life I had been living was no longer viable for me. During the year of mourning for my father, I began attending daily religious services, mornings, afternoons, and evenings. The Jewish Men's Choir rehearsed regularly on weekday evenings at our building, and I enjoyed listening to them. One evening, one of the men who knew me well approached me with an invitation to join the group. Singing and music had always been a part of my life, but at the time of his invitation, I was still working a full-time job that required frequent travel. So I took a rain check. Years passed, I retired, and I finally had the opportunity and honor to join this great harmonious group of guys that I still love singing with. The members of our choir come from all different branches or sects of Judaism, each with their own customs. Each weekday, I prepare for my morning prayers by first washing my hands and then wrapping myself in a large prayer shawl called a tallis. I place a cube-shaped container on my left arm next to my heart. I secure the leather straps to secure the box firmly in place. I then place a second cube carefully on my forehead. These cubes or boxes called tefillin are also formed of leather and contain special select prayers written on parchment. The source of these rituals come directly from the source of all Jewish law and teaching, the Torah. Moses, Israel's greatest teacher, enshrined in law that the teachings written in the Torah scrolls must be read aloud to all those who adhere to its tenets, 3 times a week. 3 honors are given to those who are called up, or aliyah, for each reading during the weekdays. 7 men are called up on the Sabbath. The honors include a Cohen, a priest, a Levite, and other members of the congregation who are selected for honors. Baruch v'tanei Baruch. Baruch Adonai Baruch Me'omed. Baruch Atah Adonai Lebecholam. Asher Baruch Abon Mikol Mibnot Adonai V'Torah. Baruch Atah Adonai V'Chen HaTorah. Amen.
If there's one thing our choir really enjoys, it's having fun.
Nobody comes to the minion no more. Nobody comes to the minion no more.
The Gabbai is crying to the rock.
Nobody comes to the minion no more.
We haven't had a minion since Tisha B'Av.
Nobody comes to the minion no more. With 3 men, 2 men, 1 man short. Nobody comes to the minion no more. If the crook in the center just can't be bought. Nobody comes to the minion no more. Nobody comes to the minion no more. Nobody comes to the minion no more.
Mr. Gottesman, jeder ist der Simcha.
Nobody comes to the minion no more.
Danke, Mr. Gottesman, just in time for me.
Nobody comes to the minion no more.
Shalom. Welcome to the House of Israel. I believe some of you might be familiar with baseball. I believe other people might be familiar with the Bible. Well, you should know that the Bible talks about baseball. How does the Bible start? The Bible starts like in the big inning. Why don't you enter to the House of Israel? Shalom. So you're here presented with the Dead Sea Scroll, but don't worry, it's just a reproduction. Here we have a wall, which is made, as you see, of stone. These are limestones, and they are coming directly from Jerusalem. And they were offered to us by a church in San Diego, in Spring Valley, in more precise. And the peace symbol is made of the 3 ingredients of 3 religions. Here, you have the church. Here you have the wall, the Wailing Wall, and here you have the Muslim church.
Und geschieht der Käppele aheim.
Viele licke, viele loben, Packel, licke, Packel, loben, Single, licke, Single, loben, say. As the viele licke, viele loben, Packel, licke, Packel, loben, Single, licke, Single, loben, say. As the viele licke, viele loben, Packel, licke, Packel, loben, Single, licke, Single, loben, say. As the viele licke, viele loben, Packel, licke, Packel, loben, Single, licke, Single, loben,
Today we are meeting with Rhoda Galis, the co-founder of the San Diego Jewish Men's Choir.
Hi, Rhoda. Nice to see you. Hello. Nice to see you.
Hello, Rhoda, remember me? I used to have more hair.
All right, I know that the beginnings of the choir was mostly South Africans, but I don't know why all of a sudden all these people from South Africa came here, so I think it's really important to know that.
We came for a year when my husband, Tommy Galis, was a surgeon, and he came to do vascular surgery. Then I got a call from Basil Abramovitz in 1998, I think that was. And he said to me, what about a choir? And he came from Cape Town, and a few of the Cape boys also joined. I think I had 8 in my home when we started. And I've got the pictures, it's on the table there. And well, it grew, and we started doing bar mitzvahs and weddings, and the boys, it was very exciting, and the boys came to practices, and it just grew and grew, and of course now Ruth has taken over.
America was the hardest country to get into, and there was a long history of uneasiness in South Africa where it was hard to imagine that Mandela would come to the fore and that there would be a bloodless change of government because of the views of the ultra-right-wing Afrikaner who would not tolerate any change. But Mandela was the Gandhi of Africa, of that era. But prior to him coming into power in '94, the Jews who are always the first to leave when there's some sense of dissatisfaction and an uncertainty of their future, they started to look for places to go.
We were also, like Brian, deciding where to go. We already had family in Israel, a small contingent. My wife Fiona had her 2 sisters there, and I was under a lot of family pressure to go to Israel, and we decided not to. We decided to break the trend, which caused a lot of discussion in our family, and we came to the States. And not only did we see the writing on the wall, but part of my job was to talk to the people who were going to do the writing on the wall. And we knew in advance about a lot of the things that were going to develop in the country, and we basically said it's time for us to make a move. So we packed up with our 3 young children, and we made the move.
What were your fondest memories of doing the choir?
Well, I think I just loved the music. I was very responsible for bringing Judaism, more Judaism, to San Diego through the music.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that I did it.
So are we all.
And I'm so very pleased that the choir is still going.
You're doing that. Ruth has taken it to a different level, and you really should know, if Ruth wasn't there, I think the choir would have dissolved. It's been a wonderful journey for all of us from the beginning, and for the new people who have joined too. They'll be very lucky.
I'm so pleased that I was part of all this.
Well, you were the genesis of it all. You really were.
And I wish you all a lot of luck, and just go from strength to strength.
We were honored to be interviewed by Cantor Joy Katzen-Guthrie, programmer and host of the Sunday Simcha radio show on WMNF 88.5 FM in Tampa, Florida.
Sean, he's one of the original members of our group, so you wanted to.
Thank you, Joy, and thanks again for your time.
So I know something of your beginnings, but I'd love to hear you give me an overview of how the group got started and whether there are any of the original members of the group remaining at this time.
Well, thank you, Joy. I'll try and summarize it quickly. As you can hear from my accent, and that is a part of the story, is originally from South Africa. And I think that is a major part of the story of the origins of this choir. We have transformed and matured over the years, but the origins back in 1998 were that when some of us arrived here in San Diego, and when we were new immigrants into America, having left South Africa in the 1990s, we were very surprised to find that there weren't a lot of choirs.
Yeah.
Growing up in South Africa, very orthodox,
Yes.
very traditional. Remember,
And
all of our
it's Jewish
all
community.
all of our grandparents came predominantly, 95% of all of our parents and grandparents came from Lithuania or Latvia.
Mm-hmm.
So we're Litvaks, orthodox, traditional, in our religious part. And I couldn't fathom a shul without a choir. I mean, every shul in South Africa had a choir. And when we arrived here, I arrived 1 year after a wonderful vocal voice teacher. Her name was Rhoda Galis. And Rhoda was a very accomplished voice teacher in South Africa. And she had family here in San Diego as well. And she arrived in 1995. I arrived in 96. And Rhoda had a lot of experience with helping men's choral groups and choirs. And we made a conscious decision to say, oh, we're going to sing liturgical music. I think that's kind of what we knew. So that's what we were first taught.
The San Diego Jewish Men's Choir still performs many traditional liturgical selections.
Evolving repertoire is so wide and varied. Ruth, why don't you give Joy just a little sense from you, the person with the baton, about how the different type of music we're singing today?
Well, my interest in Jewish music is varied. I love Yiddish music. My dad he spoke Yiddish with his parents, so I heard that growing up. And I wanted to include some of that. So when I came on board and took over, I said that I would like to expand because, well, the choir was only doing a few concerts a year, but my idea of having a choir was to have like a concert series. I would like them to have 10 or 20, at least, concerts a year. And so to get audiences, I thought we would get more audience if we had a broader scope of material that we were including. And it also worked that we got more people in our choir because we got people that wanted to sing Jewish music that wasn't liturgical. We've had doors open for us to do concerts because we have a wider variety than if we would have just stuck with liturgical music. The other big thing was when I decided that we should do choreography. That was like, well, we don't dance, but it was amazing that the ability that they actually had to do some movement.
The audience has changed. It's become very much more diverse.
Yes.
And the consequence is that in order to be able to give them the kind of a program that they can appreciate based on that diversity, the music that we sing has to be similarly diverse.
Yes.
And, you didn't add in the dimension that Israel exists now. So all of a sudden we sing a lot more Hebrew songs that are not liturgical, but they're Israeli Hebrew songs.
Yes.
So that adds an additional dimension to the variety of music that we sing.
We sang for this women's convention at this hotel in San Diego. They were all women, and they just went crazy. It was like we were rock stars or something when the men were doing their choreography, you know.
Okay.
And there were 1,000 women over there, and I was, oh my God, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. We were in this massive hall down in Mission Valley in one of the hotels. From the first note that we sang, we're like, oh my God, let's do this again. This is amazing. I mean,
wild. It's probably one of the best audience participation sessions I've ever been part of.
Isn't that great?
They were standing, absolutely standing and clapping every single song, dancing along. They did their own horror. They were dancing their own circles. I mean, and we were like, this is the audience we should be singing for every time.
So great.
Okay.
That is so great. And they found a joy in seeing your camaraderie, I'm sure.
So we're trying to attract younger members, and so we are trying to learn. Well, we do now a Matis Yahoo song one day, and we're trying to learn other things like that because we need our repertoire to appeal to younger audiences. And when we've gotten some really fine singers, but then they go away to college, or they move out of state or something, or they go back to Israel. That happened recently. So that's been one of our challenges, how to keep the younger members in our group.
And Mo has been talking about how you've gone to men's groups to talk to them, and with the goal, hopefully, of attracting additional members to the group, and that it appears to be working. We want to be more. So we're looking for all ages, and particularly, maybe that's the way, we're looking for all ages, particularly young voices.
We're really going to be giving a push to get new members, especially young members. There 2 are supposed to come this evening, and hopefully you'll make it. But if you didn't pick up flyers last week, please take them. You can put them in delis, synagogues, any kind of community center, supermarkets that cater to a section, that have a Jewish section, anything. So please take them. Take more than one if you're going to the JCC or something, so you can leave some for people to take. And I sent one to you by email, so pass them on to your friends.
Our choir is like a family, and we share in each other's joys and sorrows. We were deeply saddened by the loss of our beloved member, David Silberberg.
Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Me'alko Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Me'alko Yisrael.
The toast is to David Z, our brother in song. We'll do that together. To David Z, our brother in song. And here's the blessing. May God make and keep my voice good enough for Ruth. L'chaim.
I had a solo, and there was a word that the way I was pronounced. It's a Misha Berach, and I was saying something like Misha Berach, and apparently Misha Berach is something like your knee or something like that. And so I remember him correcting me in a very gentle way, and from then on, every time I sang that solo, I was always thinking about David, and occasionally I would, when we weren't performing it, I would kind of look back at him and he would go, give me the thumbs up.
And he had the honor of being the only Israeli we have, which was bizarre. But he was the only one. He was unable to get any others to join. So we were always grateful to have him in our melting pot of just so many nationalities.
Even when David was going to dialysis, he would call me and say, hey, I just called this senior living facility. Yeah. Now you're going to talk to so-and-so. I've already talked to them and they're going to hire us. So just follow up with this number. Like, it would be like 2 or 3 times a week that
he would be whenever he was in dialysis, he was getting us more gigs at some way.
Hey, 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 hey,
The future of our choir is uncertain. Without new members, our group cannot survive much longer, and our mission of preserving and promoting this wonderful Jewish music will not continue. It is my hope that this film will serve to inspire more Jewish male singers to join the San Diego Jewish Men's Choir, and to establish more groups like this one around the world.
Chanukah,
solchen Kantiken.